Oh, no good.
Okay. You catch more flies with honey than you do sugar. I've had all kinds of people tell me I need to slow down preaching hard. I need to let up on family. You know, we hardly have any family come around. I've had people tell me on here, because I've talked about this before.
We don't have family coming around here at all.
I've had people tell me, well, don't preach them so hard, and they'll come around. Well, because every subject I talk about leads to the Lord. Well, that's who I am. My family got to get used to who I am. They can't just shun me because they want me to change, you know. And if they live in the world, you know, the last thing I want them to do is to go to hell, because the only thing you have to do to go to hell is ignore Jesus. That's the only thing you have to do. Ignore what God wants out of us. So those people to me are saying, ignore what God is wanting out of you, and don't let your family know about it. And see, that's not going to happen. One thing my family is going to do when they walk before God on Judgment Day is know that they chose to turn Him down. See, because I'm not trying to catch flies. I'm trying to catch men. I'm a fisherman of men. And reminds me of that dream the Lord gave me. I threw in my pole, and a friend that was there with me did the same thing. I didn't throw in my pole, I threw in the line. I had the pole in my hand. But I pulled out the fish, and it wasn't one fish, but it was a whole string. I mean, beautiful, perfect eating size fish. You know, I mean, they were gorgeous. I've never seen fish like that on this planet, not ever. So that tells me that that wasn't a dream, a natural dream. And the closest thing that I could liken it to would probably be a lake trout, but a lake trout was that's a pretty fish, but it's not even close to what I saw in this dream. So I'm not trying to catch flies, you know. That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to catch men, and there's a difference. Now Jesus taught us. He told us when He was here that He told the people of His day that He was a hard master, and they knew that, and they need to deal with Him in that fashion. You know, the Bible talks about in Proverbs 27:6, I think it is, says, "Faithful are the wounds of a friend, deceitful are the kisses of an enemy." And so, you know, some people never go deeper than, well, if you get mad at me, you must not like me. That's not true. I get mad at my children sometimes, and I love them deeply. And right now, there's a couple of that I won't go to their house because they won't come to mine, you know. One of our kids do, but a lot of our family just stay away because of that fact.
Because we're Christians.
And I don't want to deal with just that tonight about my family, but I want to talk about the way that Christ deals with us, His family. Be like the prodigal son. Here's a story that Jesus told that probably really did happen. You know, people say, well, those are made up stories. No. Jesus don't have to make up stories. He knows a lot of stories without having to make any up. So this more than likely did happen. And here's this father. He let this son take all that he had and leave, knowing that his son could have died. Could have easily have died. This father knew that. But he let him take it anyway. And he let him take it and go to a far country. Someplace where he didn't know what he was doing. Didn't know if it was okay. Didn't know if it was healthy. If it was eating. Didn't know any of that. but yet the Father let the Son take it and go to that far place. And and how do I know that? Because at the end of the story, Jesus said, when the Father saw His Son, He said, "This was my Son who was dead and is alive again." So He did actually realize what was going on and what His Son could have done. And I've done the same thing with my couple of my kids. My oldest daughter, who has been in jail, I had to go through that, because she was just so rebellious. One of my sons, I had to let him. Yeah, that's right. The apple don't fall far from the tree, because I was in jail for a while myself. And now, do I look more like a jailbird since I said that? But anyway, I had to allow that to happen to them. I could have ran down on my son and got him out of trouble, and there was a couple of members of my family wanted to. Matter of fact, they did get him out of. They bonded him out before he went to court a couple different times. He just kept getting right back in there. I said, leave him in there. I said, you're just causing him more grief. You leave him in there to start with, because, see, I told my kids, if they get in trouble, they're going to get themselves out of trouble.
First time.
And if it's not their fault, I'll get them out.
First time.
But if it's their fault, I don't care. I don't care if the first time, the last time, or 20th time. I ain't have nothing to do with getting them out if it's their fault. So, and that's the way Christ does. But He allows us to learn, even though He knows we could perish. But He protects us to a certain place in that, like He did with Job. He said, He told the devil, He says, go ahead and do what you said, but don't put your hand on his life. And He took everything that he had, everything except for his wife, he had a bickering wife, who came and said to him, curse God and die. And Job says, thou speak as a foolish woman. And he wasn't calling his wife foolish. He said, you speak as a foolish woman. He loved his wife. So, it must have been a pretty good wife, because she had another 9 kids or whatever, replaced the same amount that he had to start with. So she must have been a pretty good wife. But you know what? God is doing that with us. Something, you don't always need to be sugary coating on everything. Be godly, be caring, have a spirit about you that says, I am in this place with God, and I refuse to back up from it. And when you do that, people begin to listen to you. When it's serious, people at work, they'll argue with me, but when it comes to something serious in the Bible, they come and ask me, because they know that I'm serious about the Lord, because I don't back up on God. Okay? God bless. Thank you for joining me. We'll see you again next time. Another great message right here on Cross in the Middle Ministry.